cut her own finger, but no blood came from her grandmother's. Before she could try again, her grandmother's corpse attacked her.
Go for you.
She hid under the bed, but a shadow poured blood onto her face. The movie begins with a woman engaged in a simple, everyday chore, cleaning her closet. She was methodically going through clothes, boxes, and forgotten items when her hands brushed against something unexpected. Hidden behind her neatly arranged belongings was a door she had never seen before. It was not an ordinary door. It was secured with a peculiar lock that was unlike anything she had encountered in her life. The lock bore strange, unfamiliar symbols engraved deep into its surface, each one appearing deliberate and ancient. The discovery sparked an unsettling thought. Could it be that her grandmother, who had lived in this house for decades, had been hiding something from everyone? Rosario's life, up to this point, had been quite comfortable. Since childhood, she had lived as if in a fairy tale, surrounded by love, stability, and comfort. She was often treated like a princess, sheltered from hardship. As she grew older, her ambition and determination led her into the world of finance, where she became a successful stockbroker. But the illusion of a perfect life shattered when her parents divorced. Following the separation, Rosaria went to live with her father, Oscar. Her mother's absence became permanent when illness claimed her life. The loss was heavy, though Rosario tried to keep moving forward. One particularly harsh winter day, icy winds tore through the city. The roads were slick and treacherous, and driving became nearly impossible. She was walking toward the station when her phone rang. The caller ID showed it was from the caretaker of her grandmother's apartment building. Expecting a routine matter, she answered, but instead of her grandmother's voice, she heard the caretaker's. His tone was solemn. He told her that her grandmother had passed away. The severe weather made it impossible to transport the body to the morgue immediately, and he urged her to come as soon as possible to handle matters. The news hit Rosario hard. She quickly called her father to inform him before setting out toward her grandmother's apartment on foot. The wind stung her face as she walked. At one point, she checked her voicemail, and what she heard next made her stop in the middle of the snow-covered sidewalk. It was the voice of her deceased mother. A shiver ran down her spine. She turned her head quickly, and in the dim light of a dark corner, she thought she saw her mother's figure standing there. But in the blink of an eye, it was gone. She told herself it must have been her imagination, a trick of grief and the cold. Eventually, she reached the base of her grandmother's apartment building. The building's caretaker, Marty, met her at the entrance and led her upstairs. When Rosario entered the apartment, her composure broke. Tears streamed down her face as she saw her grandmother's body lying still. She approached slowly and lifted the white sheet to see her face one last time. But what she saw made her gasp. Her grandmother's skin had turned black, her eyes remained open, and deep wounds marked her hands. Before Rosario could process the sight, a sound came from the kitchen. She followed it, only to find the kitchen in a terrible state, dirty, neglected, and infested with insects. She decided she should clean it, but just as she prepared to start, she heard an ambulance siren outside. Thinking it had come for her grandmother's body, she looked out, but the vehicle did not stop. A call to the hospital revealed they were attending another emergency and would return later for the body. She had no choice but to wait. As she sat down, the apartment began to shake suddenly. Her grandmother's body slipped off the sofa. Alarmed, Rosario hurried to pick it up and carried it into the bedroom. Then something happened that deeply unsettled her. Sitting near the body, she noticed insects crawling nearby. When one of them climbed onto her hand, she brushed it away. But it didn't fall. It kept moving, crawling up her arm until it reached her ear. Panicking, Rosario grabbed a pair of tweezers and managed to pull it out. She was left shaken and breathless. When she had calmed down, she began to notice other odd details. The wardrobe in her grandmother's room was completely clean, in stark contrast to the filthy kitchen. That struck her as strange, and she decided to inspect it. Inside the wardrobe, she discovered the hidden door she would later remember, the one with the lock marked by strange symbols. As she examined it, a loud knock at the front door startled her. It was her grandmother's neighbor, Joe, asking about an air fryer he had lent her. He tried to step inside, but Rosario assured him she would look for anything her grandmother had borrowed and return it later. She closed the door firmly. Joe knocked again a short while later, this time to tell her there was something on her hand. Looking down, Rosario saw a deep, burn-like mark on her palm. She quickly bandaged it from the first aid box. When she turned back toward the bed, her eyes fell on her grandmother's feet. Wrapped around them was an iron wire, from which a small key dangled. Immediately, Rosario thought of the locked wardrobe door. She used the key and the door opened. Inside, it was pitch dark. With a torch in hand, she moved forward cautiously. After a short distance, she entered a small space that resembled a black magic altar. The items on it, teeth, hair, and a used sanitary pad, filled her with both disgust and fear. Just then, she heard a noise and fled the hidden room. The house lights began flickering and a strange coldness filled the air. Deciding she needed to leave, she wrote a quick note and prepared to go, but heavy snow meant no cabs were available. She took the metro again, only to encounter a terrifying black dog in the underground station. It chased her and she narrowly escaped, leaving her jacket behind. Rosario returned to her grandmother's apartment and began researching what she had seen. She discovered it was linked to an ancient form of black magic involving sacrifices, sometimes human, and that such curses often manifested as marks on the victim's body. The burn mark on her hand confirmed her fear. When she told her father, he questioned why her grandmother would ever curse her. Rosario believed it was resentment for not being present during her mother's final moments. Her father insisted she stay out of the apartment until he arrived, but Rosario couldn't. She went back through the wardrobe and into the hidden room to find the iron cauldron. Pulling at the chain around it caused the ground to shake, and black, decaying hands emerged from below. She fought to free herself and managed to pull out the cauldron. She then searched for a way to break the curse in her phone, but ran out of battery. Back in her grandmother's room, she found an old book explaining that the curse could be broken by mixing the blood of the one who cast it and the one cursed into the cauldron. She cut her own finger, but no blood came from her grandmother's. Before she could try again, her grandmother's corpse attacked her. She hid under the bed, but a shadow poured blood onto her face. Joe appeared again, this time telling her how proud her grandmother had been of her and how she prayed daily for her success. This made Rosario realize her grandmother hadn't cursed her, but had instead made a deal with a demon for her sake, sacrificing herself. The book said such paths couldn't be undone, only sealed. She began the sealing ritual, but medical staff arrived, forcing her to hide the body in the hidden room. The demon attacked her there, but she survived. In the end, her grandmother's corpse appeared again, hanging from the ceiling before falling on her. She resumed the ritual, fighting off the demon until she finally trapped it inside the body. Her father arrived in the morning, but it turns out her father made the deal with Kobayande for Rosario dreams to come true, as he could not give his daughter a better life.